Welcome, welcome, welcome to Student of the Gun Radio 2015. And this is episode 100. We have reached our century mark. So welcome, and we're glad that you're there. We're glad that you stuck with us, or maybe you're brand new to the show and you just found it. Either way, we're glad that you're out there. Now, we've been teasing you guys for, what, a month at least, Jared? I would say it's at least a month.
Yeah, I think so.
We've been teasing you guys for at least a month, telling you about what's going to happen with Student of the Gun this year in 2015, how we're going to be changing things, how we're going to be increasing the number of programs that we release each and every week, specifically related to Student of the Gun Radio. I sent you guys a New Year's letter, and thank you very, very much to all of you out there in the Student of the Gun listening audience, the viewing audience, the website audience, for your kind words and your comments and your holiday greetings and so forth. I really appreciate that. And in the letter, in case you didn't read the letter, shame on you, but if you didn't read it, what I basically said is I laid out what we did last year and how we're increasing this year. Now, when it comes to Student of the Gun Radio, we've had, at least hundreds of people tell us that they listen to it in their cars commuting on the way back and forth from work, that they listen to it while they're on the treadmill, that they listen to it at work on their headphones while they're doing monotonous tasks, what have you. Is that correct, Jared? Would you say it's safe to say hundreds?
Yeah, definitely. Real quick before you get too far into it, if you didn't read the New Year's letter that he sent, then you need to go to studentofthegun.com and sign up for the newsletter on the little form there, and that will ensure that you get these letters that he sends.
Yeah, Jared sends out a weekly broadcast via email each week with the basically the highlights of what's going on with the show. And if we have something special to talk about, then he'll put that in an email and send it out as well. And all it costs you is your first name and an email address, and you have to confirm it. So I know some of you guys aren't 100% computer savvy, and although I don't know how you listen to podcast radio and not be computer savvy. You have your
There's an app for that.
Yeah, there is an app for that.
I got an email or two about somebody asking me why I called them the name that I called them when I emailed them the thing. And what you put in the box for the first name is what the email is going to be addressed by. So whatever you put in there is how I'm going to address you.
Yeah, we're not making stuff up here.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't go by Thomas, I go by Tom, and you wrote Dear Thomas in your, well, brother and sisters, I don't know what to tell you. But so here's what we're going to do. 2015, Student of the Gun Radio. You are going, and I know a lot of you have seen this or are listening to this, and you're in a state of panic right now because you checked the mobile app, you checked iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is that you use for your podcast player, for your radio player, and you saw there's only one episode. It's okay. Calm down. We're going to get through this all together, because here's what we're going to do for you guys. We're going to release one episode of Student of the Gun Radio per day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if whatever you have there, iTunes, or if you listen to us via the mobile app, each day you will get a new episode of Student of the Gun until Friday. Now, Friday is going to be the bonus hour day. If you want to listen to us on Friday, that's cool, but you need to be a member of the grad program. We explained the grad program before, but just in case you didn't get it or you're not hip with it, this is what you get. You sign up for the grad program, and the grad program is for dedicated students of the gun, for people who want a little bit more. And you need to go to either studentofthegun.com or studentofthegunradio.com and sign up for the grad program. And if you do that, then you get the bonus hour each and every week. You will get the Tactical Tutor newsletter. You will get signed up for the automatically sign up for the special giveaways and contests and discounts that we offer to our grad program members. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and say one more time, in case you missed last week's episode, congratulations to Kristen. That is correct, is it not, Jared? Kristen? Kristen was our grad program winner, and she is going to very soon be the proud owner of a brand new Kar 9mm pistol with a laser sighting.
Kristen, when you get the gun and everything, take pictures and send it to us.
That's right. And she's also going to get a matching Crossbreed Super Tuck holster, courtesy of our friends at Crossbreed. So that's and we did the gun this month, last month. I know it's January. We also did, was it during the entire month of October we gave away the Blackhawk lights? Yeah, we gave away one Blackhawk Legacy flashlight, like $100 value per week in the month of October to our grad program members. So, when we first started the grad program, the numbers were relatively low, that were in the hundreds versus the thousands. So your odds of winning are, pretty good, actually. So check that out. Check out the Student of the Gun grad program. It's for dedicated students of the gun. So one more time, real quick, this is what's going to happen in 2015 with Student of the Gun Radio. You're going to get an episode a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then Friday is going to be the bonus hour or the grad program hour, and the only people that are going to get to listen to it on Friday is going to be grad program members. So if you're a grad program member out there, congratulations, and you're going to be we're going to give it to you on Friday so that you've got something to carry you over through the weekend. And Jared, do you want to send out at the beginning of the week? Do you want to send them the newsletter and the special report that I did for them so they have something to go with all week, or how you want to do that?
I don't really want to do it that way, because then the new people that sign up won't get audio. They'll just get what I send them in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So I can't really split them up. That
Okay.
wouldn't be fair for new subscribers.
All right. Sounds good. And yeah, if you subscribe, that's the one thing about being a grad program member. People will sign up and they're like, well, I want to listen to all the previous episodes.
Here's what I'll do. When you signed up for the grad program, what I did is I set it to automatically put you in our email list. If you confirmed that email that we sent you after you subscribed, then you're gonna get the what did you say you wanted me to send out at the beginning of the week?
We're doing that for this month only. The Tactical Tutor newsletter is going to go out to everyone. But what I did, a special report for grad program members only that they're going to get.
Yeah, okay.
And both of those are they're queued up right now.
If you're a grad program member and you confirm the email after you signed up, then I'm going to send you that stuff in the beginning of the week. And then it'll go out to everybody else via the Gumroad system at the end of the week when I send out the audio too.
Okay, well, there you go. That sounds good. So you guys are getting lots of material, and we hope you appreciate that. And we hope that you know why we can do this? Well, I'm going to tell you why. The only reason that we're able to sit here in the glass case of emotion, that we're able to use these cool black carbon steel microphones, is because of the people in the industry that support us. And that would be SWAT Fuel at SWATfuel.com. The Brownells, not the Brownells, but Brownells at Brownells.com. If you have a gun, Brownells has something for you. Colt at Colt.com. Velocity Triggers. Don't forget about Velocity Triggers. And, before we go, you want to do the SWAT Fuel deal? Or you want to do that in the next hour?
The giveaway?
Yeah.
We'll do it in the next hour.
Okay, we'll do it in the next hour. But if you go to SWAT Fuel, put in the promotion code, the promo code SOTG2014, you get 20% off your total order. And Jared and I actually took Mars, the rifle that he built. Jared, if you follow us on social media, and if you're on social media and you're not following us, you're wrong and you need to fix yourself. But if you follow us, and you should have seen pictures of Mars, the rifle, the first black rifle that Jared assembled. He had a bunch of parts and springs and plungers and all that stuff, and I held him, took him by the hand, and showed him how to put it all together. And what did you say, Jared, after you put it all together? I didn't realize it was going to be that easy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just refreshing your memory.
Yeah, I probably said a lot of things, but that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, he goes, oh, I didn't think it was that easy. Well, you just have to follow instructions. It's easy if you have someone who's sitting with you on the bench, like saying, okay, do this next, use this tool, what have you. And we have a good friend in the industry who works for a company that can help you do that very thing. And we're hoping to get them on board. If a lot of you amateur gunsmiths out there, or a lot of you guys who have disassembled a gun, and then you look at all the pieces that are on the bench in front of you and you go, oh, I'm not really sure how to put all those things back together. Now, modern firearms are generally rather forgiving. Some of the older guns, if you didn't put things together in a certain specific order, they did not go back together. Most of the modern firearms are pretty they're pretty forgiving in that aspect. But we've got a friend who works for a company that teaches people how to assemble and disassemble and gunsmith. And we're hoping to have them on as an official Student of the Gun sponsor here in 2015. So we talked about who, Jared? We talked about Velocity Triggers. We talked about Colt, Brownells, and SWAT Fuel. And we're going to do the Excess Sights Good Guy of the Week this week. But before we do that, there is a topic that I absolutely 100% have to address. I addressed it a little bit last week in an article. And if you didn't read the article about gun clips, you need to go ahead and avail yourself to that. It's on the Student of the Gun blog. And, of course, if you've got what? The mobile app.
Yeah, it's on there too. And if your brain just exploded because you used the word clips, go read the article.
Yeah, read the article.
It's not the clips It's not the clips you're
I
looking
know
for.
the difference between a clip and a magazine. But before we get into all that jazz, we want to talk about a situation that actually just happened like 2 days ago as we record this. And it's a tragedy, but it was a preventable tragedy, and we're going to dissect it. Jared's got the audio clip. It's a news story. He's going to go ahead and play the talking heads, and they're going to set it up for us, and then I'm going to dive into it, and we're going to examine the situation.
With a very different story. The new developments this morning in the rather strange case of a police chief in Georgia who says he accidentally shot his wife while she was sleeping in their bed on New Year's morning.
The 911 call made by the small town's top cop was just released, and it may hold clues as to what happened in the couple's home. ABC's Lindsay Janis has the very latest on this very strange story. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Elizabeth and Dan. The police chief's wife is in critical condition at an Atlanta hospital after what appears to be a tragic accident, but one many are saying should not have happened to a police officer with extensive firearms training.
Oh, my God.
What's your name, sir?
How did this happen?
This is the voice of Peachtree City, Georgia Police Chief William McCollum, speaking to a 911 dispatcher moments after he says he accidentally shot his 58-year-old wife, Margaret.
I'm the chief of police. The gun is on the dresser.
You're the chief of police in Peachtree City?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Who shot her?
Me.
How did you shoot her?
The gun was in the bed. I went to move it, put it to the side, and it went off.
Chief McCollum explaining he and his wife were in bed when his department-issued Glock went off.
All right, let's go ahead and break this down. Now, if you are a dedicated student of the gun, and I'm hoping that you are, but even if you're not, I'm going to school you a little bit right here. You say, how many times, Jared, do you think that they used the word accident in that story just now? At least 2, possibly 3, maybe even 4 times. I lost count. Was this shooting an accident, Jared Tyler Markle?
No.
No.
It was not.
It was not. When you put your hands on the gun and your finger touches the trigger and your finger presses the trigger all the way to the rear and the gun goes bam, that's not an accident. The gun is supposed to shoot. The gun doesn't have a conscience. It doesn't have a mind. It doesn't have a brain. It doesn't have a free will. It doesn't get to decide, well, I don't think I'm going to go off right now. Well, some of you guys have guns that seem to have free wills that don't go off when you want them to. But the gun wants to fire. That's its job. The gun's job is to launch bullets, one after another after another. Okay? if you put your meat hooks on a gun, put your finger on the trigger, and it goes boom, that's not an accident. You're like, well, if it's not an accident, Paul, what is it? It's negligence. Negligence and accident are not the same thing, and they are not interchangeable words. And I know you hip cats, those that have been with me from the very beginning, have been squirming in your seats, and you're like, it's not an accident, it's an ND. It's a negligent discharge. Folks, are there accidents? Have there been accidents? Yes. Guns are machines. Is it possible in the world for a gun to discharge a cartridge, to go bang, when the person in question did not press the trigger? Yes, it is possible. Is it likely? Does it happen often? No. It's extremely rare. It is extremely rare for a gun to actually fire without your finger being on the trigger. Now, just because it can happen, people always, they throw out, accidental shooting, accidental this. No. Folks, if you're holding onto a gun and the gun goes bang because you press the trigger, it's not an accident. Now, what are the 4 universal safety rules? Number 1, treat every gun as if it's always loaded. All right, check. Number 2, keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on the target and you've made the decision to shoot. All right. Always point the gun in a safe direction, or a direction that you would want to put a bullet into, and know your target, what's around it and what's beyond it. So anytime a human being is negligently injured by gunfire, what we have to be honest, this is where we have to be honest with ourselves. This is a tragedy. I hope this woman doesn't die. We really pray that she survives this injury. Now, negligence, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you an evil person. But what it does is it makes you a person that has the opportunity to learn from your mistakes. And unfortunately, what we've seen over and over and over again is people will have negligent discharges, and the first thing they do is look outward. And they're like, the gun should have been designed better, or there should have been manual safeties, or the trigger should have been heavier, or whatever. They want to look outward away from everything but themselves. The fact of the matter is that if the gun is in your hands and it goes bang, it's ultimately your responsibility. If you're a gun owner, it's your responsibility. So first of all, this was not an accidental shooting. It was a negligent shooting. At least 2, or 3, or 4, Jared, in this case, every single universal safety rule was violated. Know your target, okay. Muzzle direction, finger on the trigger, treating every gun as if it's loaded. And you're like, but Paul, it was an accident. It was an accident. They didn't mean to do it. He didn't mean to do it. The gun was in the bed with him. All right, first of all, number 1, stop sleeping with guns. This goes back 20, 30, 40 years of the women keeping 38 specials under their pillows and what have you. I've never been able to fathom this. I've never been able to fathom the people who sleep with guns under their pillows. Do you not know that when you sleep that your body moves around, and that when you're woken up late at night, if you're deep in a REM sleep, it takes your body a while to figure out what's going on? I had a firearms instructor many, many years ago tell me that when he was a young cop, and I've used this story on the radio before, but it's been a long time, that when he was a brand new cop and he was a fresh sheriff's deputy, still wet behind the ears, got his badge and his gun, and he woke up to the sound of his .357 Magnum service revolver discharging. He woke up to that sound. And the reason he did was because it was in his hand. And he was in his own bed, and he had pressed the trigger. Now, fortunately for him, the bullet went into the mattress, into the box spring, and then wedged itself in the wooden floorboards underneath his bed. So no one was harmed. Go team. But that's when he shared with us, he said, look, if you're going, you need to keep a gun readily available at home because it's a defense issue, self-defense issue. He goes, but there needs to be something he goes, think of a 2-step rule. You have to take at least 2 different steps in order to make the gun go bang. Well, step 1 would be accessing the gun, putting your hand on it. And step 2 would be doing something else, such as removing it from a holster or a container or a sleeve or a scabbard or whatever. Something that covers the daggum trigger. Folks, stop storing your guns, carrying your guns, having loaded handguns naked in purses, in pockets, on nightstands, in your bed. How many more times do I need to say this? Because in that fog, the human animal, you're going to be gripping. All right, I do this in class all the time. I'll put a tennis ball or something, or a pen or whatever, something on the table, and I'll tell people, reach out and grab that pen. Do they reach out and they only grab it with their thumb and their pinky finger, or their thumb and their middle finger? No, they grab it with their whole hand, and their entire hand closes. When they grab the tennis ball, do they grab the tennis ball with their trigger finger extended in a way? No, because the human animal in its base state, all of your fingers and your thumbs want to work together. And if you claw at a gun in the fog of 4 a.m. or 2 a.m. or whatever, all of your fingers are going to go down, and one of them's probably going to hit the trigger, and the daggum gun's going to go bang, because that's what guns are designed to do. So right now, let me tell you this. If you're listening to me and you have a naked gun sitting somewhere, pause this. Hit the pause button. Well, let me finish first, then hit the pause button. And go find something to put that gun in. Even if the gun's not on your body, if it's on a nightstand or whatever, put it in a freaking holster and leave it on the nightstand in a holster. Oh, I won't be able to get to it fast enough. Stop yourself. If you can't get to the gun, remove it from the holster and then use it, you got big problems. And you need that extra second or two to make sure that your brain is fully engaged. All right? And that leads us right into the discussion of gun clips. A gun clip. What's a gun clip? A gun clip is a spring steel clip that people attach to their firearms. They screw these things onto their firearms, and so they can easily stick them into waistbands or purses or attach them to their clothing and so forth. And they're really seductive because it seems real super convenient. But what does a gun clip not do? It doesn't cover the trigger. Folks, stop shoving guns naked into your waistbands. Stop shoving naked guns into purses, into pockets, what have you. They're going to go bang when you don't want them to. And thus ends the lesson for the day. We're going to move on to the XS Sights Good Guy of the Week. But, folks, if you learn nothing else from this episode, please, 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 if you have a self-defense handgun and it's not currently in your paw, it needs to be covered. It needs to be inside of something.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the XS Sights Good Guy of the Week. This week's good guy is Aloha Snack Bar from the forum. Aloha Snack Bar. Right. Aloha Snack Bar.
Aloha Snack Bar.
Yeah, Aloha Snack Bar.
You're welcome for that, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I need you to send me your address, your shirt size, your phone number, and your email address. And send that to Jared, Jarrad, at studentofthegun.com. And Aloha Snack Bar says, it's kind of a long story, so bear with me here. It says, a couple of months ago, my friends and I decided to go to Walmart and purchase a couple of toy dart guns so we could mess around. After we purchased them, we immediately took them out of the packaging and left the Walmart parking lot. We made our way to my house, and then we noticed a police car following us, so we decided to go home. When we stopped, the officer stopped behind us and got out to talk to us. While he was talking to us, another officer pulled up, and they proceeded to tell us that criminals had been painting real guns to look like toy guns. And they received a call that there were 3 teenagers who were wielding toy guns in a menacing manner, and the truck we were in matched a description of what the caller had given. They started to question us further, asking if any of us were drinking or on drugs, and when they were done, we went inside the house and they waited there for about 20 minutes before finally leaving. I live in Texas, and I was wondering your opinion on this matter.
Okay, well, here's the deal. Number one, it sounds like some Shannon Chicken Little type person saw you with with plastic guns and decided that it was their duty to call the police. And second of all, do the police have to investigate every call they get? Yeah, they do. You can't just, as a police officer, you're not allowed to just get a call and say, that's stupid, I'm not going over there. Even though you probably know that it's going to be stupid, when you get there, you still go anyway. Unfortunately, we've devolved into this Chicken Little society where, criminals have painted their guns. I see this all the time, folks, and you guys stop sending me this stuff because I'm not impressed by it and I don't really care. Where some gangbanger in L.A. Folks, I've been seeing this in Flash news report or Flash Intel report or what have you. L.A. gangs take High Points and paint them yellow and so that they look like, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. Tell me something. If you saw a group of Crips or a group of Bloods or a bunch of gang members, you're a cop. It's a bad neighborhood. It's a gang neighborhood. And you see them and they have a yellow gun in their hand. And so you're like, oh, well, it's obviously a toy. I'm not going to investigate further. Well, why are you there? And here's the thing. We focus so hard on the objects that we neglect the behavior, or we forget to address the behavior. For instance, when we've had how many negligent shootings by police officers in the last 6 months, and turned out that the teen or whomever it was had a pellet gun, a toy gun, an airsoft gun, or whatever in their hands. And the question that we always ask and we always will ask is, okay, so, and after the shooting, everyone says, it looked real, we need to do something, to make these guns not look real, blah, 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 blah. Folks, and being the devil's advocate, I'll say this here. Okay, so let's just say that the 17-year-old walking down the street that you shot because he had an airsoft gun, but it looked real. All right, let's say that it was real. So I'll give you that. Let's say it 100% absolutely was a real gun. Do you have the lawful authority to kill someone because they're holding a real gun? Is holding or possessing a real gun justifiable deadly force? Justification for deadly force. Is it or is it not?
I've seen some stories come out recently about a Supreme Court opinion. I think it was an opinion that the Supreme Court gave in North Carolina. Have you seen that yet?
No, hit me to it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of news stories saying that the court's opinion ruled that police are not guilty of breaking the law if they are ignorant to the law. I haven't got through the whole.
What?
Yeah, I was reading the opinion over here and I haven't got through it yet.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me that because
I'll send that to you. But if that's true, then I don't even know what to say.
Well, first of all, that's the old defense or the old, legal axiom is that ignorance is no defense. You can't say, well, I didn't know that there was a law against that, therefore I'm not guilty. And they'll say, well, no, you actually are guilty because you should have known that there was a law against that. So I'm not really sure where that is, but I can tell you this, that in the America that I was born into, the America that I grew up in, it wasn't full of all these scared little ninnies, all these little Chicken Littles. What we have right now is a really hard polarization of the nation.
There is no middle.
There is no middle. You either have people, and I was talking to Dick Brown last night on the phone. We were talking about what are we going to do as a nation when we get our own Beslan, when we get our own Nairobi Mall, and it's coming.
It's going to
folks.
be an isolated incident.
Yeah. Well, and he said, well, and Dick said, he goes, well, maybe that is what it's going to take to wake the American people up and say, no, it's not a religion of peace, and yes, you need to be armed and ready to defend yourself at all times. And, I said, well, yeah, that what you'll have, and I truly believe that there's no reason for me not to believe this, but what you're going to have is you'll have people on one side, we have our own Beslan, and if you don't know what that is, you need to research it, you need to duck it. and or Nairobi Mall or what have you, you got one side that's going to say, you're right, the citizen needs to be armed, needs to be prepared, needs to be trained to deal with this. And then on the other side, you don't think that all of your friends and neighbors are going to think that arming themselves is the right thing to do. If we have a Nairobi Mall, if we have a Beslan, you're going to have your friends and neighbors and relatives screaming for more control, begging the government to restrict their rights and liberties, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to keep people safe. And folks, if you don't think that the centralized state will take that opportunity to seize more power, to restrict more liberties, to usurp more rights from the citizen, that's the way it works. Not just in the United States of America, but everywhere in the world for the entire history of mankind. I know we like to believe that we're special in America, and we are special based upon the founding. But the farther and farther we get away from the founding documents, the more we have ignorant people, the more Chicken Littles we have. That's why you have, these. The person that called the police up there in Ohio and got everyone all like panicked up, the 911 guy that there's a man with a gun in the Walmart, and it turned out it was a guy who was obviously not very mentally screwed together, not walking around with a BB gun that he took out of a box. Well, that whole thing got started not because the cops wanted to kill this guy, but because some Chicken Little a-hole got on his cell phone and got the whole world up into a panic. And that's what we've got. We've got the Shannons. We've got the Hollywood or Bollywood filmmakers teaching kids that their parents aren't the authority figure, that the state is the authority figure, and you should steal the gun from your mother and take it to school and give it to your teacher. And if you didn't see that video, well, consider yourself lucky. But for
if
those
it's still on the internet, I'll be surprised.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. You think Google doesn't like that?
No, I'm thinking that maybe that those people got enough emails and stuff from students of the gun that
they just turned off the comments.
Yeah, but you can't turn off your email box.
I doubt it. Oh, but anyway, the reason that this goes on there, Aloha Snack Bar, is because despite all of the, people are like, well, but Paul, violent crime is down. Statistically, according to FBI statistics, violent crime is down. Yes, it is. And there are more people that own guns in America today than there ever have been. Yes, that is true. So why are we dealing with this? Why is it that if those two facts are true, and we know that they are, why is it if there's more people in America that own guns than ever before, and there are more, and then violent crime is down, why are we dealing with this? Well, because we have an organized, coordinated effort on the part of the elites to get people scared of guns. But it doesn't make any sense, Paul. I know it doesn't make any sense. But they have an agenda. And the agenda is guns are bad, the state is the ultimate authority figure, and you need to surrender to the state. And what we have is millionaires and billionaires that are donating tons and tons of money to these quote-unquote not-for-profit organizations to convince your neighbor Sheila across the street, to convince her that if she sees any object that looks to be shaped like a firearm, even if it's green or blue or yellow or orange, she should jump on her phone and call 911 because the existence of firearms makes us unsafe. And that's what we're dealing with today. You want to do the Canada thing?
Yeah, I say this kind of leads right into the
Okay, let's
Canada
go.
thing.
Go ahead and give me my Canadian update theme, and we'll discuss it. Yeah, we haven't had an opportunity to do a Canadian update theme here lately, but we had to address this, and this comes from cbc.ca, and we know anything that's .ca is Canadian internet. Fu Lam, 53 was shooter in Edmonton mass murder. Now you're like, hang on a second. How in Canada, where gun owners have to be strictly registered, have to be strictly licensed, where we know that the RCMP is just randomly going to people's homes that are registered gun owners and demanding to see their guns, demanding to see the magazines that go with the guns, that they closely monitor every gun owner in Canada because lawful gun ownership leads to tragedy. How can this happen? I mean, we've got all these gun laws. Well, it happens because, A, what you have is you got a guy who had a criminal record, who was mentally unstable, who was in possession of, get this, a stolen firearm. That's why we need more laws, Paul. We need stricter laws to keep stolen firearms out of the hands of mentally What? Jared, how do you keep criminals from being criminals? You just keep passing more laws? Is that what you do? If we only had enough laws. Is that what we've got? We need more laws?
Yeah, since criminals follow the law.
Ah.
This paragraph is confusing me. It says, Duong's body was discovered when police responded to a weapons complaint at 6:53 p.m. Monday. They went to the North Edmonton home at 8:28 p.m. to check on the welfare of a potentially suicidal man, but found nothing unusual. What? Does that confuse you?
Yeah, there's like two different. They found it at a different time than that they.
Well, I mean, is that two different houses, or is that because 6:53 to 8:28? That's an hour and change, an hour and a half that it takes them to get to a house.
I don't know, but well, Paul, I don't live in Canada. I don't care what goes on in Canada. Why are you telling me about Canada? Well, the reason I'm telling you about Canada is because the Shannon sandwich makers and the Nanny Bloombergs and all the other puke faces that want you to be disarmed, when they do that, when they bring up their disarmament arguments, when they tell you that guns are bad and guns need to be restricted and firearms owners need to be monitored and all that stuff, when they tell you that, they try and back up their arguments by pointing to various other countries where they've already enslaved their people. They point to England, they point to India, they point to Australia, and they point to Canada. And they're like, look how wonderful it is in Canada. They don't have gun violence up there because all their gun owners are registered and licensed and blah, 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 blah. Well, how many more times are we need to send the RCMP out after kids with airsoft guns. We need to arrest children with airsoft guns or teenagers. And we need to send their airsoft guns off to the RCMP crime lab to test them to determine whether or not the airsoft gun is a firearm. So all of that nonsense going up there in Canada, and yet we still have a deranged psychopath who commits mass murder. And he committed the crimes in multiple locations. It wasn't just one place. If you look at the map, there are bodies in 3 separate locations. So what does that tell us? Well, how many people did this guy encounter before he was able to finish up the job? Several, would you not say that would be, Jared? Several people were encountered here. And what do we know about all the victims? Well, all the victims by Canadian law are disarmed and helpless. So when you have a person who is intent on committing evil, and they're going to do it regardless of breaking the law, I'm pretty sure in Canada, possession of a stolen gun is a felony. Don't you think, Jared? I'm pretty sure it is.
No, not in California.
Well, not in California, it's not, but in Canada.
But .ca is not California.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that it's a felony to possess a stolen handgun in Canada. I'm pretty sure it's a felony to murder people in Canada. Do you think it is? So you've got a person that's not concerned about committing multiple felonies. How do you stop someone who has no concern over being arrested, captured, jailed, imprisoned for committing multiple felonies? How do you stop that person?
Do you know what that refers to?
What?
That's going to refer to the 3 types of criminals that you cover in the armed living class.
That is true. a Type 1, a Type 2, and a Type 3. And if you don't know that, you really need to jump yourself into an armed living class. Jared, you want to take the time, we got about a few minutes left, take the time to tell them about the armed living class coming up and a little bit about what we've got going on for the new year.
We've got the armed living class on January 31st. If you want to sign up for that, obviously, Dad he covers a lot of information in these armed living classes. And if you want to look at the reviews, we had one last month, and some of the students left reviews on the Student of the Gun University Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/SOTG University, and you can look at some of the reviews and look at some of the stuff we have coming up. And if you want to get more information on the class, you can go to that Facebook page, or you can just simply go to SOTGU.com, and that'll give you information on the entire university and what we have going on.
Yes, enrollment is opened right now, and here's the deal. The class is not just about how to shoot or even how and when to shoot. It's about how to shoot, when to shoot, and what now. Because when you get to the end, when you get to the what now, hardly anybody ever talks about that. You can go anywhere to learn how to shoot. You can go anywhere in America to learn how to shoot. It's mechanical. And then, what about when? You need to know when. You have to be justified in your actions. And then after you've done it, you don't get to high-five your partner and walk off screen, say a cool catchphrase like Bruce Willis, and they roll credits and you just go home. That's not the way it works. And if you're going to be an armed citizen, if you're going to be a responsible armed citizen, you have to educate yourself. You got to get some education and training because, well, I know how to load the gun and pull the trigger. Okay, congratulations. You can load the gun, you can pull the trigger. I could teach a chimpanzee to do that, but I can't teach a chimpanzee to lawfully apply deadly force in the gravest extreme or to know when it's not appropriate to apply deadly force. We talk about things like warning shots and shooting to wound and a lot of that nonsense that's going on out there in the world. And folks, you say, I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. And we were doing a training, it was force options. We talked about force options. But anyway, you guys all know who George Zimmerman was and Trayvon Martin and all that jazz. Okay. George Zimmerman, I don't believe he had any formalized training, and he wasn't in possession of an alternate use of force tool. Even if he would have paid $500 to take a training class, compare $500 for a training class versus $250,000 in legal fees to finally end up being not convicted. The investment is yours to make, or $20 for a can of quality pepper spray versus $250,000 to get yourself out of being accused of murder, a murder trial. You do the math yourself there, folks. But the investment at the very end, what you need to understand is any time, any money that you invest, you're investing it in yourself. That is what I want you to do for 2015. I want you to invest in yourself and look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I worth the investment? Are you? I don't know. Do you believe that you're worth the investment in time, effort, and, of course, a monetary investment because, gasoline and food and things aren't free. But and I don't care where you go. Go to Tactical Response, TDI, Ohio, Gunsight, go to SIG Academy, go to, if you're in the People's Republic of California, you can go to ITTS, whatever you want to do. But in 2015, make the commitment to invest in yourself. And that's all I have to say about that.
And if you want to get in on the Armed Living class on January 31st, as we record this, and today is the 3rd?
Yep.
There are 6 days, 13 hours, 21 minutes, and 10 seconds as of right now to register for this class, the Armed Living class. So go to SOTGU.com, click on the little banner below the video, and it'll pop up with a page that gives you all the information, and then you can check out the reviews and what the class is about and everything like that. And it even gives you a little countdown for when registration closes. So speaking of investing in yourself and other people, I just got an email from somebody in Pakistan that says, hold on, I'm going to read it. Open Your Heart, help support orphan poor kids. Your donation, well future of kids. Please send your decision in box. God bless all. Amen. Soon I will upload program pictures. God bless you all, because in Pakistan, no resources for Christian. So, yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
I just want to let you know that.
On that happy note, write a blank check and send it to the king of Somalia. Folks, we hope you enjoy the new season of Student of the Gun here in 2015.
We hope you enjoy the whole new season of 2015.
That's right, of 2015. Remember, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.